Okay, so we are reviewing Learning Target 1.4. I know the charge and mass of each subatomic particle. So there are 3 subatomic particles that we're going to talk about, and they're right here. Electron, proton, and neutron. They all live in the atom. They live at different places in the atom. That's what makes up an atom. So let's start with the electron. The electrons are these green little circles that are floating around on the outside. There are 6 of them in this particular atom. And you can see them. There are 2 of them right there. There's 4 more. And let's talk about 3 specific things: the charge, the mass, and the location of each of these. The charge of an electron, as you can see from the inside of the green circle, is negative. So I'm going to put a little negative sign there. I'm going to fill out this chart. The mass of an electron is so tiny that we say it has 0 AMU. So what does AMU stand for? So AMU is AMU. It stands for, let's see if I have an equal sign, atomic mass unit. Okay? It is what, let me see if I can move this guy. So AMU stands for atomic mass unit, and that's what we're going to use to talk about the mass of these three particles. So the location. The location for an electron, as you can see from the atom, is on the outside. It has a specific name. We call it the electron cloud. So that's where it lives. It lives in the electron cloud. So electron cloud. We call it a cloud because it's kind of like a haze of space, a big open area where an electron might be at any given point. Okay, so let's move on to proton. So a proton, as you can see from the key, has a positive charge. So you can see proton, positive charge right there. The mass is 1 atomic mass unit, and it lives in the middle right here, which is the nucleus. Next up is the neutron. It is also in the middle, or in the nucleus right here. It's one of the red ones. It has a 0 charge, or a neutral charge. That's where it gets its name. Neutron, you can think of neutral. Okay? So the mass of a neutron is exactly the same as the mass of a proton. It balances out the mass of a proton. So it has an atomic mass of 1 atomic mass unit. Okay? And we're talking 1 atomic mass unit is awfully tiny. We're talking about on the order of 10 to the negative, let me see my negative sign here, 24 grams for an atomic mass unit. So this is awfully tiny. The location of a neutron, let me see if I can. The location of a neutron is also, like the proton, the nucleus. Okay? For the individual example for this problem, I'm asking you to tell me how many neutrons are present. So the question asks, a neutral atom of nitrogen has a mass of 18 atomic mass units. There are 7 protons in the nucleus of this atom. How many neutrons are present? How many electrons are present? Okay, so pause the video now, and then I will go over how to do this when you resume it. Okay, so the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, what atom are we talking about? So we are talking about a nitrogen atom. So nitrogen, we know from the periodic table, has 7 protons. We know that. We also know that it has a total mass of 18 AMU. That is given to us. Right there. We got the 7 protons. We got AMUs, or how many the total mass is. So what it's asking us is how many neutrons and electrons are present. So if this is a neutral atom, which it is, we can check right here, neutral atom. Since it's a neutral atom, we know that the number of protons equals the number of electrons for a neutral atom. That's important. The number of protons equals the number of electrons for a neutral atom. Why is that? Because we need to make sure that all the pluses balance out the minuses. The pluses are the protons. The negatives are the electrons. So if they're balanced, then it must be neutral. And that's what we know about this atom. So it's neutral, so they must have pluses and minuses equal. We know we have 7 protons, so we must have 7 electrons. So our answer to the electron question is we have 7 electrons. So we know that for sure. So let me put that at the bottom. We definitely know that. So we've already answered the question about how many electrons we have. Now we need to figure out how many neutrons. Okay? How you do this is you know that the total mass is 18 AMU. How much of that mass is taken up by electrons? Well, we know that electrons don't have any mass, so none of the 18 atomic mass units are electrons. Okay, well how many of the atomic mass units are protons? 7 of them are. So whatever's left over is how many neutrons we have. So we start with our total mass, which is 18 AMU, and we subtract our number of protons, which is 7 AMUs, because we have 7 protons each weighing 1 AMU. And 18 minus 7 is 11 AMU, which means we have 11 neutrons. So that's a final answer. 7 electrons, 11 neutrons.